Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the residence information session. We're just going to give everybody a few minutes to make sure that they're logged on, and we'll start the presentation in just a few minutes. Okay, it looks like we have quite a few participants signed in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on our presentation. I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for attending. We're just going to have a brief 20-minute presentation on applying to residence, life in residence, and everything you need to know about meal plans. And at the end of the presentation, we will answer any questions that you have. So we have 17 residence buildings in total at Queen's, housing 4,668 students when we are at full capacity. Queen's is a highly residential university with over 90% of our incoming first-year class choosing to live in residence. All of our buildings are unique, and we have different features in each building. 2 of our buildings are for female-identified students only, and we do have 1 floor for male-identified students. The remaining buildings are mixed gender. We have 3 dining halls and 23 retail outlets spread across campus, so there is always somewhere close to eat. And 66% of our rooms are either single or single plus, the difference being that single plus rooms have a semi-private washroom and single rooms have shared washrooms within the floor. 30% of our rooms are double, and 4% are either triple or quad rooms. We have 2 campuses, Main and West Campus. Students may end up in residence on either campus, but the campus is small in comparison to many other universities. Our campus is about 2 kilometers from one end to the other, which is roughly a 25-minute walk to anywhere on campus. Kingston Transit also has several routes between the 2 campuses, and students can purchase bus passes at a reduced rate for the school term. When we are at full capacity, we have roughly 160 live-in professional staff, which are upper year students. These include dons on every floor and residence life coordinators who supervise the dons. We also have a live-in residence society staff who are members of the student government representing the needs of students to the university's administration. So typically, all students who meet both the application and deposit deadline are guaranteed a room in residence. This past year, due to the pandemic, we operated at a 50% capacity. We do know that our capacity will be increasing for the upcoming year and are hopeful to significantly increase capacity to make as many spaces available as possible to the incoming class. This will, of course, be dependent on the evolving nature of the global pandemic, the progress of the vaccination rollouts, and requirements and guidance from the province and our local public health unit. So once you have accepted your offer to Queen's, you are ready to apply for residence. These are the 3 steps that you will need to follow. We encourage you to first visit our website. You will find all the information you need to apply, frequently asked questions, the option to ask for preferred roommates, submit accommodation requests, and you can choose a living, learning, or preferred community. The link on this page will also lead you to the application, which will be available on our website on Tuesday next week, March 23rd. Once your application has been filled out, the final page will direct you to a payment instruction page. We do require a $525 deposit for your application to be complete. You will notice both the application and payment have a deadline of June 8th. This is a very firm deadline to qualify for residence, and any application or deposit received after this date will result in a student being on our wait list for residence. Our deadline is exactly 1 week after the deadline that you need to accept what university you will be attending. So once you have chosen Queen's, please do not hesitate to apply, especially with your deposit. Sometimes there is a delay of up to 5 business days between paying the bank and Queen's receiving payment. So allowing time for your payment to be received by the deadline will relieve any worry and stress that is often associated with payments that are made at the last minute and often not received by our office on June 8th. So on the application, you have the option of creating a roommate group if you have a friend you would like to live with. You will also be able to identify a preference for a double room with a random roommate. You can choose to apply to live in one of our 8 living learning communities or 4 preference-based communities, and there will be more information about this on an upcoming slide. We also ask that if you have an accommodation request, either health or non-health related, that you send in our accommodation form by the same deadline as of June 8th. There is a link to this form on both your application and on our website. It's very important that our accommodation forms are received by the deadline so we are able to ensure accommodations can be guaranteed before the room selection process begins. So Queen's is committed to accommodating students with health and non-health accommodations. We have 2 separate forms, which can be found as a link on the residence application as well as on our website. I've also provided a QR code on this slide for anyone with a smartphone, which will direct you directly to our accommodation page on our website. The health accommodation form is for requests related to health conditions or disabilities and needs to be filled out by a registered healthcare provider. The non-health form is to make requests related to height, if you need a long bed, cultural or religious reasons, gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation. The non-health form can be filled out by the student and has a submit button at the bottom of the form to electronically deliver it to our office. If you have an anaphylactic allergy, it's important you identify that by using the health form so we can provide information to connect you with our hospitality team who can ensure you can eat safely on campus. Also, if you have allergies to animals, please also use the health accommodation form to prevent being placed on a floor that may have a service animal. And as mentioned on the last slide, these forms are due on June 8th, along with your application. We recommend submitting your form to your healthcare provider as soon as possible to avoid any delays that may be limited, as we may be limited in what accommodations we can provide after self-selection. Please read the instructions carefully on the form. We do have specific requirements about how the forms need to be received and filled out. Many doctors will charge to fill out the form, so it's important to get it right the first time to avoid further appointments and charges. So for the first time this year, students will be able to self-select their rooms. We're very excited to offer this. It's much like choosing concert or movie theater tickets. Once you have confirmed a residence spot, you will be able to visit our website and view all of our building pages. These pages will have floor plans and you can shop around to find a building that interests you. You may look at things like location to your classes, the library or the athletic center, and features within the building, including what room types are in the building. And once you familiarize yourself with what's available, it would be wise to have a few choices in case your first choice is not available at your self-selection time. You will be sent a date and time in early July with instructions for logging on to the Student Residence and Dining portal to select your residence room. If you're unable to select during your time slot, you can select in the next slots until the self-selection process is complete. All students should have selected by the end of July, and at that time there will be an opportunity to talk to other students who may not be happy with their room selection, so a room swap can be arranged before move-in. Room changes will also be available throughout the year. The time slots that are provided to students for self-selection will be based on a lottery number generated by a randomized computer lottery. So everybody wants to know what residence costs. This is the fee schedule for the 2021-2022 academic term. Keep in mind, these fees include the room for both fall and winter terms, as well as the mandatory meal plan for all first-year students. The deposit, as mentioned, needs to be paid by June 8th and will be taken off the total amount. The remainder of the room and meal plan fees will be split in half, with half being due at the end of August and the other half at the beginning of January 2022. Both the ResNet, which is your in-room internet, and the student council fee are due at the beginning of August in full. And the snack plan is part of the mandatory meal plan. It is only separated out as it's the only part of the meal plan that is taxable. And there will also be later due dates for students who qualify as OSAP based on their OSAP, when their OSAP payments are received. And with that, I would like to pass it over to my colleague Molly, who's going to talk to you a little bit about what it's like living in residence and how students are supported.
Hi everyone, my name is Molly Raffin. I am the Manager of Education in the Residence Life Office. As mentioned prior, our resident staff are spread out throughout the buildings and throughout the floors of each of our spaces to support the transition for students who are coming from where you're coming to our residence spaces, and will continue support throughout the year. This support is a great advantage to students who are choosing to live in residence. We know it's a huge transition for you, and we've got upper year students living on the floor, which I'll talk about in a minute, who have been at Queen's and they can share their experience. But our hope for students who are living in residence is that they will have a sense of belonging. They'll build it over the course of the year. They'll figure out what resilience means to them and work on finding it for them and growing their resilience. And then of course you're here for academics, and we want you to be successful in a way that you define and help you get there as we navigate throughout the year. Our live-in staff offer opportunities to actively participate in community and socially. We focus on a residence context, but also encourage our students to think more locally and globally in terms of where they fit in the world. We want our students to be respectful. We encourage that on a regular basis. And we encourage students to be civically engaged as they grow personally and as they grow academically. So as I mentioned, sense of belonging is one of our focuses. Residence is going to become your home away from home. And over the course of your time with us, we're really hoping that you're able to build that sense of belonging. One of the very first people that you'll meet when you come to residence is your residence Dawn. As I mentioned in the earlier slide, Dawns are upper year students who live on the floor and receive extensive comprehensive training to support you in your transition to university. They're your first line of support and are there to talk to when you have questions or having a tough time. They also plan events and socials for students to help you get to know your peers, and they ensure that residence is inclusive and an encouraging space for everyone. And they are very in tune with what resources are available on campus, and they can help students make those connections in the event that they want them. And they also provide a sense of safety and security for our residents through doing on-call rounds each evening of the building or throughout the buildings, and uphold our community standards. The way that you feel connected and belong, like and a sense of belonging to your community, will be totally individual to each of you. But your Dawn can help you navigate all of the opportunities, because there are a lot of them, to get involved at Queen's in both residence and the larger campus community. If you're interested in being involved in residence, please watch for information just after move-in about becoming involved on the floor through a floor rep position in your building, and also helping to represent the interests of your floor to council for your building. There are tons of other things, but that role is particular to our residence space and is offered through our residence government. ResSoc is what it's called, Residence Society. Resilience. The transition is different for each student. We focus on helping students find the tools to power through and kind of learn who they are and problem solve, think critically, accept responsibility for your actions, and learn and grow from the challenging experiences that you may face throughout your time in residence. We have a set of community standards that we expect every resident student to be aware of and respect. They're in place to keep you safe and are written with your well-being in mind, to make sure that residence is comfortable, respectable, respectful, and a safe place for all of our students. A few things we'd like you to remember related to our community standards and expectations. You need to read them. When you sign your contract, you've agreed to live by these expectations, so it's really good for you to know what those are. We know that residence is a learning environment. We know mistakes will happen, and that's totally okay. And we want you to kind of test your boundaries safely and figure out where the learning is going to be for you. And it's the choices that you make after your learning that's the most important. Adult decisions equal adult consequences, and you will be held accountable. And the decisions you make impact others. For example, quiet hours are in place in the evenings, and for those, they're in place for a purpose to keep things in the building quiet. And if you choose to be very loud, you will disrupt the people around you, and that's not okay. Residence overall is a very exciting place. There are always people around, and in a typical year, we have about 4,500 people living together in close proximity, so there's always something to do. We approach living in residence with reasonable expectations. We understand that with so many people living together, you may find it different from where you're living now. Whether it relates to your personal space, to noise expectations, we ask that you have an open mind in your approach to residence and come knowing that things may challenge you, but that there are tons of supports around to help. We also ask that you are aware of your own boundaries and limits as you come to Queens and be comfortable in sharing them with others, but also know that they'll likely change as you learn and grow in this environment. Next slide, please. Okay. All right. You are coming to Queens because of academics. The social part obviously is a lovely additional piece to it, but you're here primarily to learn and be academically successful. What that means to you will mean something different to somebody else. And your goal may just be to get through first year with a passing grade. You might hope to maintain your academic average from high school, but whatever academic success means to you is a priority for us in terms of supporting and helping you find the resources that you may need. As I mentioned, all of our buildings have quiet hours. They begin every evening and each morning. As part of the role of our dons, they are to encourage you and your community members to meet expectations required of community hours, and they monitor the noise on rounds and also respond to noise complaints when they're called by the students each evening. There are also study spaces available in residence and around campus that you can utilize by yourself or with a group. And we work closely with our campus partners to provide academic resources to you as students in residence. Okay, so living learning communities are an awesome opportunity to get involved in a different way. If you have more questions about this, please feel free to ask in the chat. So our living learning communities are unique communities within our residences. They're kind of spread out throughout our buildings. They provide an opportunity for extracurricular enrichment to connect with faculty outside the classroom and like-minded people within your program or your interest. They offer intentional programs that enhance connection to academics for those who are faculty-based and community for those who are interest-based. Each LLC is made up of about 20 to 50 like-minded students per LLC that share a common interest or focus group, depending on the nature of their LLC. In 2018, we had 900 interested applicants, and there are approximately 215 students placed within an LLC for the 1920 academic year, which is an increase of from 155 the previous year due to demand. As I mentioned, they're found throughout campus. It depends on, they're not usually placed in the same building every year. It's just depending on what our interest levels are and what our building capacities can offer. The common experiences if you join a living learning community, regardless of whether you're in a faculty LLC or you're in an interest-based LLC, are the following. Every student in a living learning community attends learning lunches with faculty and or campus partners. They have an opportunity to participate in and earn a leadership certificate. The LLC program as a whole, so all 215 students participate in leadership workshops once a month to help you gain more skills that you can add to your resume, hopefully. And then there are tons of opportunities to participate in LLC specific programming on a regular basis. It doesn't take away, by being in these community, it doesn't take away from your first year experience, but enhances it. For next year, we have the following LLCs that will be available within our buildings next year. So we have student staff specifically hired to facilitate these communities and offer enriched programming throughout the year, in addition to everything else that you're going to get as in your regular residence experience. So we will have 4 faculty-based next year, which are academic in nature, and 4 interest-based, which are more community kind of focused and align with the LLC theme. To apply, students may apply to up to 2 living learning communities within the residence application. Students will be asked, those who apply, students will be asked to describe why they'd like to live in a living learning community. And you will be selected for the LLCs based on this response. So make sure you put some thought into it so that we can really understand what your interest is and what you could be bringing to it. All students who've applied for LLCs will find out if they've been accepted in June 2021 and will be given further information about the LLCs. Students will be given 1 week to opt out of the experience should they have changed their mind. A common question that we get is, how will residence room self-selection be affected by LLCs? If you are accepted into a living learning community, you will only be given the rooms in the community to select from on your application or your self-selection. In 2021-2022, rooms will consist of single or single plus room options with a few double room options available in select communities. If you're interested in further information about living learning communities, we encourage you to please contact our academic initiatives coordinator, whose name is Olivia Winder, for more information. Her details are on the final page of this presentation. In addition to living learning communities, we also offer preference-based communities, which are study floor, alcohol and cannabis not preferred floor, female identified and male identified floors. They are different in that there are no specific programming pieces related to these floors. For example, the study floor is for students who have a study-based focus. And this community, by living in this community, you would be agreeing to 22-hour quiet hours in a day. The alcohol and cannabis not preferred community is for students who are willing to make an affirmative commitment to maintaining a living environment free from alcohol, cannabis, and other drugs. The male and female identified communities are for students who are students interested in living only with students identifying with those particular genders. As I mentioned earlier, the Dons are one level of support, but there are many more on campus, that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And some of those are 24-hour residence front desks, Dons on call, residence life coordinators who supervise the Dons. They're on call. The management team is on call within residence. And then, of course, there's residence security, walk home, and blue lights. Blue lights are placed around campus and they directly go to security in the event that you're walking on campus and might need some support. We work closely with our campus partners to provide information and support to students. For example, academic support, student wellness, support for international students. We also work with many community partners to ensure students have the resources that they need. One particular resource that we have in residence and is one of our greatest resources is our residence outreach counselor role. We have 2, their names are Nadia and Jason. They are 2 full-time professional counselors specifically like available to see students in residence, and you can make an appointment with them. And they also offer emergency appointments that you can access through your DONS. So that's it for me. I'm going to pass you on to Kim to talk about dining on campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Gaskin. I'm the marketing coordinator for Queens Hospitality Services. I'm going to talk a bit about dining on campus, starting with your meal plan. So your residence meal plan is included in your residence fee, and you can use that at any of our dining halls and hospitality services retail locations on campus. Your meal plan includes 19 dining hall meals per week, which reset every week. This ensures that you have enough meals to last you for the entire school year. The dining halls do not have any meal period restrictions, so that you can enter up to 3 times a day whenever the dining halls are open. Your meal plan also has 200 trade meals, which allow you to swap up to 200 of your dining hall meals for meals in retail. You also have a bonus of 150 flex dollars that you can use in our retail locations. This is cash loaded onto your student card that you can use on snacks, coffee, and meals. Your meal plan works in all 3 all-you-care-to-eat dining halls and 23 retail locations across campus. You will find TAM options in all of our retail locations, including our national brands like Starbucks and Booster Juice, as well as our unique brands on campus. During a regular year, all of our locations will be open. Due to COVID, the fall semester could look a little differently with limited locations. We do recommend that students and parents check our social media and website for updates closer to September for what locations will be open. Like I mentioned, we have 23 retail locations on campus that are a mix of national brands and Queens unique outlets. Our national brands include Starbucks, Pita Pit, Booster Juice, and Tim Hortons. And our more unique concepts that were developed here at Queens include Flip It, which is a new burger location on campus promoting the flexitarian lifestyle. Our lead burger there is a 50-50 mushroom beef blended burger. They also have build your own salads and traditional chicken and beef burgers. The Lazy Scholar is a great spot to pick up grill items, Mexican cuisine, and subs. It also has pool tables, foosball tables, and video games. Cow offers our Asian fusion restaurant, and location 21 features all-day breakfast and build your own salad and deli sandwiches. So no matter where you are on campus, there is something for everyone. Our dining halls and retail locations accommodate a wide range of dietary needs, including vegetarian, vegan, halal, and kosher diets. Students can navigate the dining halls and retail locations by looking for these icons on our menus. The Get the Good Stuff icon is unique to Queens and is used to identify healthier options in dining, retail, and our fresh-to-go pre-made food. We also encourage our students to always ask before they eat. If you have an allergy or dietary needs, please speak with our managers or chefs so we can make sure you are provided with a dining option that meets your specific needs. Our menus are posted online, and there is also a list of vegan offerings that you can find on our website. Next slide, please. So we take allergies and dietary needs very seriously. We accommodate alternative diets at all locations on campus. If you require a milk alternative, a gluten-free item, or another accommodation, just ask. Alongside our Ask Before You Eat campaign, with daily access to chefs, supports include our True Balance station and gluten-free pantry in our dining halls. The entrees served at True Balance are prepared with ingredients that do not contain common food allergens, including peanuts, tree nuts, milk, eggs, wheat, soy, sesame, mustard, and shellfish, in addition to gluten. There's also a gluten-free pantry located in all 3 dining halls for those requiring gluten-free, including students with celiac disease. Students have independent access to gluten-free foods, along with a dedicated toaster and preparation area. Wherever you're living on campus, we have measures in place to ensure that you're provided with a safe and nutritious meal. We encourage students with allergies and dietary needs to set up a virtual appointment with our registered dietitian, Jessica, or executive chef, Colin, prior to arriving on campus. We'll have an informal discussion about how we can best support you during your time here at Queens. More information on how we accommodate allergies and dietary needs can be found on our website through the links that you see here on the screen. We are currently working on a Transact app that you can download on your phone. This app will be a great resource for our first-year students. It will allow you to reserve your seat in the dining hall, as well as order food ahead of time from our retail locations on campus using the meal plan. You will also be able to look up our hours of operation and find our retail locations on Google Maps, which will be a really good resource for you as first-year students. Hospitality Services also offers different programs and initiatives that support the student dining experience. Swipe It Forward Queens is an initiative in collaboration with Student Affairs that aims to provide short-term support for students with food insecurity. This is a peer-to-peer support program where students on a meal plan can donate unused meals to help students in need. Campus Market is our new grocery program launched this semester. Students and parents can order snacks and pantry essentials online and either pick them up from Banbury Dining Hall or have them delivered to the Lazy Scholar or Jean Royce Dining Hall for easy pickup. If you are living off campus, we also do local deliveries within a 4-kilometer delivery radius for a $2 fee. Within this platform, we also have Q Gifts, which is our care package program. Parents can send their students birthday cakes, healthy study boxes, feel better boxes, top up their flex, and more. The bakery items come fresh from the campus bake shop. Students that are part of a group or club can also participate in our fundraising opportunities. Hospitality supports students' fundraising efforts by partnering them with local food trucks on campus. It offers a great way for you to build awareness of your group, and a portion of the day's proceeds will also go to the representing group. Finally, we welcome our student volunteers to help us with various committees to help shape the food climate on campus. These committees include our monthly food committee and meal plan committee. We're also committed to helping our community and environment. We have 2 eco-swap programs that students can participate in to help reduce single-use packaging on campus. We launched our eco-container program last semester in our retail and dining locations that you can use for your meals to go. And we also have the Husky Cup, which is another swap program that you can use for your hot beverages in both retail and dining. We purchase local produce as much as possible within Ontario and Quebec. Through our partnerships, we purchase local food from over 24 different farms within the area. We also partner with organizations who pick up our untouched, unused dining hall foods and donate these to local shelters every day. This supports our community and helps us reduce food waste. You can learn more about all of our sustainable initiatives on our website. We are now happy to take any questions that you have. If you don't get your question answered, or if you think of one after the session ends, please feel free to contact us. There's a live chat feature on the residence website if you'd like to talk to someone during business hours.